I'm your host, your favorite Uncle JJ, and as always, I got something to say. The Great Debate Show is available on all social media platforms, on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell because you never know when your favorite might pop back up. And I'm up right now on a Sunday morning, Sunday fun day. It is 11:04 a.m. Eastern Time, and it is 8:04 Pacific. Hope it's not too early for you all. I'm trying to catch some of you before you all get out and do your day-to-day, whatever you're going to do. You know, you may be going to church. You may be going to do some shopping. You may just be doing nothing. You may just want to rest. Well, while you're doing that, listen to me because I got some news for 49er fans that I know you would like to hear. And I'm talking about, a few teams that could be the next New England Patriots. And when I say that, I mean like the New England Patriots, just like that. We thought that they were a year ahead of their time. The New England Patriots just came from out of nowhere. They had a lot of money in free agency. They spent a lot of money in free agency, but they spent it well. And just like that, the Patriots were in the Super Bowl. First-year head coach Mike Vrabel, first year with them, and second-year quarterback Drake May. We were like, they're going to probably finish second in the AFC East, but we didn't expect for them to win the AFC East. We didn't expect for them to get to the Super Bowl. And that's what they did. So if there's one team in the NFL right now, AFC or NFC, who do you think in 2026 would be the next New England Patriots? I'm going to tell you mine. And it's not going to be a popular opinion, but we'll see what you all got to say. I would love to hear your thoughts. Please drop it in the comments. You know I read some of these chats, and we're going to get it started. But before I talk about the Patriots and who could be the next Patriots, I got some heavy news coming out of the Bay Area in Santa Clara. There is rumors, and that's all I know it to be right now is just rumors. But there are rumors that San Francisco 49ers front office could have a major shakeup, and it could happen in the next couple of weeks. Now, we know the new league year starts in early March, and we're already halfway through the month of February. Actually, more than half. Today's February 15th, 2026. And there's only 28 days in the month. So we're already a little past halfway with this month being gone. Before the new league year starts, the Niners could have a front office shakeup. And as you can see on the profile pic, or you can see the thumbnail, John Lynch is in that thumbnail. Profile right there. You see the picture on TikTok also. John Lynch. I have his picture up for a reason. There's rumors that the San Francisco 49ers, there are whispers. There are conversations being had about possibly replacing John Lynch, and if not replacing him, then bringing someone else or a few more people in that can do a better job than what he's been doing. Now, if somebody has to come in and do his job, I don't know why he should keep his job, but I'm going to let you listen to what I just heard from his name is, I don't know if anybody's familiar with it or not. Only Niner fans probably are. The Gold Standard 49ers Podcast Network, Dieter Kurtenbach, says that he's hearing these things in the 49ers front office. Now, I don't know if you hold him as a credible source or not, but for him to say he's hearing it, then he must have, either some good sources, or maybe he is around the 49ers front office or around the right people and personnel enough to know this or hear this. First, before I get into you and play this clip, because I don't want you to just take my word for it. Hey, hello to OCCG. How you doing, brother? Grand Rising Kings and Queens. Where you been, OC? And also hello to Tan Isaacs, 7 Goat G2B. How y'all doing, man? What up? D-Bowlin 90, what's up? How y'all doing? Get this 49er news out of the way real quick, and then I'm going to move on to who's going to be the next New England Patriots in 2026 in the NFL. Before I get to that, Dieter Kurtenbach at the Gold Standard 49ers podcast said that he's hearing that it could be a major 49er front office shakeup in the next couple of weeks. And if this is true, I'm going to explain why this is great news for 49er fans. Let's listen to it. Make sure I got my sound right. Let's listen to this real quick, shall we?
First of all,
yes.
John Lynch is not a GM. He's not a scout. He has no scouting background. Like, John Lynch was there to shake hands and kiss babies, and Kyle was there to do all the stuff. Now, if Kyle's realizing, hey, these jobs are too big, completely understand. He didn't know what he didn't know, right? Now he does. Well, that's great. Then send John Lynch to Amazon. Let him call the games, get rid of stupid Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels, the worst broadcast combination in the history of the universe, and bring in a real GM. Bring in somebody that's really good. Let Kyle cook the food. Let somebody else shop for the groceries.
There has been conversation about that.
Significant conversation?
Not enough to where it's actually happening, but there has been conversation to that degree.
Well,
it wouldn't shock me in the next couple of weeks if a hire was made that gave you a pretty clear indication that that's the way things are going.
In the next couple of weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, that is something. Does this happen?
Might not happen, but the conversation, in order to bring this person in, such a delineation, while not strictly prescribed in the hiring, would make it very easy to infer or very easy to see how such a delineation of John Lynch as president of football operations, fill in the blank as day-to-day general manager, and Kyle Shanahan as head coach and most important voice in the building would fall into place. That does not mean it's going to happen. It does not mean that it is, to my knowledge, imminent. It's just to say that in the conversation on should we bring this guy in, such a delineation would have to informally have take place, because there's no way to bring him in otherwise.
Is that why Al Guido is now CEO?
No, they just wanted to give Al more money.
Okay, so that is what we got from Dieter Kurtenbach at the Gold Standard Podcast, 49er Podcast Network. He's saying that he's hearing that they're going to make a significant hire to come in and do John Lynch's job. And again, I'm going to say this. It doesn't necessarily, he's saying it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to replace John. It doesn't mean that any of this is imminent. But if you're going to bring in somebody that can do his job, why should John Lynch keep his job? Now, a lot of Niner fans think, when I get to talking bad about Kyle Lynch, and I'm very critical of him, people say that John Lynch is the one who should go. Now, I see a few people in here saying they support John Lynch. Somebody else is in here saying that they know that my brother is a faithful Niner fan. They say that they should get rid of John Lynch. Thank you for that comment, Steve Robin. Somebody else is saying I'm hating on John Lynch. I'm not the person who's saying this. This is this person I just let you listen to who is saying what they're hearing. Eli said, "Good morning, sir. Go Niners. Are you going to the Melbourne game?" Man, I'm not even in the Bay Area, unfortunately. And no. But good morning to you too, sir. Akman, thank you for following. Sport Tyrone 48 says, I support John Lynch. Why? Fly Essay says John Lynch is a borderline genius, but the league has caught on to his antics. Borderline genius? Okay. Where you at? Don't think the Max Crosby... Where you at? Don't think about the Max Crosby rumors. I don't think we're going to get him anyway, Saint Sadana. 49er genius? Borderline genius? 49ers choke every year in the Super Bowl. Thank you for reminding me. Good vibes. I support John Lynch. It's that substation. It's that damn substation. Really? Well, even if it is the substation, Jed York said that he ain't worried about that, and he thinks that's a bunch of nonsense. So should John Lynch resign? Because he's going to continue to look bad if his owner, Jed York, continues to just act like that's not a big deal. And that is a big deal to me. Okay, let me just state my opinion real quick, and then I'll move on to who is going to be the next New England Patriots in 2026 in the NFL. Y'all, I've said for the longest that while I am very critical of Kyle Shanahan and his job and what he does, it's because he's not just a head coach. He's also the OC. He's also the GM. And John Lynch has made some terrible picks, but so has Kyle or Adam Peters when he was there, or whoever that was calling the shots and was scouting and said, hey, these are the people that we should draft or consider. Here's the draft board, and then Kyle and John, get the final say. And I think most of the time, that's Kyle. You just heard Rob Guerrera on this Gold Standard podcast saying everything that I've said about Kyle Shanahan. He really has been the final boss because Jed York doesn't say a thing. He doesn't come in. He doesn't drop in. He doesn't say a word. He doesn't make a peep because we told him to stay out of football operations. You don't know what you're doing. And after he ran Jim Harbaugh off years ago, this is the reason why he'll probably never fire Kyle, because he doesn't want to go through that again. And he doesn't want to go through, seeing empty seats in Levi Stadium. So he's playing it safe, like Triple H in the WWE with his booking. While I have appreciated Jed York for staying out of the way, now it's time for him to understand he needs to get back in the way. Now, I don't know who is sparking these conversations up and where these rumors are coming from. But if they are having talks that they need to probably bring in somebody else or replace John Lynch, that tells you that someone is finally saying what we've been saying all along. They have missed way too many early round picks. First, second, third round picks, they have been atrocious. They've been bad. And the only reason why we've had some success is because we have hit on some of our late round picks and undrafted free agents, and we acquire talent at the right time when needed. Some of them work out, some of them don't. But John Lynch has not been providing Kyle Shanahan with the right groceries in order for Kyle to cook. But the reason why I hold Kyle just as critical, the reason why I'm very critical of Kyle just as much as I am John, I don't really think that one is worse than the other, is because they both missed these picks. While John Lynch has missed heavily on the Reuben Fosters and the Solomon Thomases and the Javon Kinlaws and all of that, Kyle Shanahan has still missed on Dante Pettis and Jalen Hurd and Danny Gray and Trent Taylor and Jake Moody, and I could just keep going and going and going. I remember when Derwin James, Quentin Nelson, and those guys were available, and he went with Mike McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey hasn't been on the team for a couple of years now. He went with Brandon Ayuk because he can block, but Justin Jefferson, you could have moved up a few spots and gotten him. CeeDee Lamb, you could have moved up and got him. Don't move back into the first round for Brandon Ayuk. He drafted Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel is no longer on the team. He was a gadget player, and once they figured out those gadget plays, he was a non-factor for the Niners. He stayed injured because of the way Kyle played him, but that's the only way he knew how to play him. A.J. Brown was on the board when he drafted Deebo Samuel. Who do you think is the better wide receiver? Who do you think is the real wide receiver? A.J. Brown is a wide receiver, not a wide back. So Kyle has missed on just as many picks as John has, and that's why I say get rid of them both. But I've also said Kyle is very good at preparing for the next opponent. Nobody can game plan in this league like Kyle. My problem with him is that he's not creative enough at times, and he's not as innovative as we thought he would be as the years pass by. It looks like this is it. What we see is what we get from his offense and his scheme. And he's too stuck in his ways. He's too stubborn to change things up. He's too conservative. And when you stop the running game, he has nothing else. The Atlanta Falcons may tag Kyle Pitts. He'll be tagged at $16.3 million according to ESPN. That sucks. I really would like to have Kyle Pitts on my team. Y'all, the players need to also stop signing these damn CBA agreements, agreeing to this stuff where you can get tagged. They should be tired of playing the tagging game. Stop signing the CBAs. Anyway, back to the Niners. Kyle can still game plan. He can still prepare. I just wish somebody would take the iPad from him when the game kicks off and somebody else should call the plays. We're losing assistant coaches every year because other organizations think that these guys are good at what they can do. We've lost the LaFleurs, the McDaniels, the Kubiaks. We've had people that have went on to do good things in other places. Why can't they do that in our organization? We should do the promoting before we let them out of the building. And that's on John and Kyle for not seeing that. They do not evaluate talent very well. It's at least not in the high early draft picks. In the early rounds, they're terrible. But because Kyle can game plan and he finds your weakness and he will beat you to death with it, he will beat you in the head with it if he finds a weakness and a mismatch. Nobody can really do that better than him. I've always given him that credit. And I've said before that if John Lynch is the only one that has to get fired, so be it. If he goes, he goes. But Kyle needs to just be the head coach because he wears way too many hats. I mean, did anybody see the 49ers, the rise of the 49ers? Even Eddie DeBartolo started taking away certain titles and positions from Bill Walsh. And Bill Walsh was a 3-time Super Bowl champion. But he made mistakes too. Kyle's made a lot, and he has no Super Bowls either to show for it. Kyle needs to be the head coach, and that's it. Get you an OC and let them call the plays. Jed York, get a general manager because Kyle's not going to fire John. Remember, Kyle hired John. He got the head coaching job first, and then John Lynch called. And Kyle was like, I can run over this motherfucker more than likely. I can do what I want to do. I'll pretty much run this organization. Jed, you're going to stay out. You're going to butt out, right? Okay, all right. This is not going to be Jim Harbaugh over again 2.0. No leaks, no nothing. They agreed on those terms. So Kyle knew that he would be the final boss until Jed York finally comes in and said, this ain't working. He hired John. So Kyle would have to fire John, or Jed York would have to come down and say, this is enough. And I don't think neither one of those are going to happen. But what Dieter Kurtenbach is saying on the Gold Standard 49er Podcast Network is that they're going to bring in someone that can basically do the job better and take these responsibilities away from Kyle and John. I think that if they got to take the responsibilities away, John should be fired. But I think Kyle can definitely be more successful if he doesn't go to the grocery store providing all the groceries. Somebody else needs to go to the grocery store and get those groceries, and then let's see if Kyle can cook. Most of the 49er fan base thinks that he hasn't won a Super Bowl yet because he doesn't have the talent. But I hold him accountable for that because he is responsible for the talent just as much as John. I don't think John Lynch is saying, hey, fuck your offensive line. We're going to do this. No, Kyle is saying, I can make it work with this offensive line, and we've got one of the better offensive line coaches of all time, Chris Forrester. We can make it work. The system is for the ball to come out in 2-3 seconds tops, and, you don't have to have the best protection. Bullshit. You needed that best protection against the Seattle Seahawks. And you're going to see them twice every year. They're not going anywhere. The Rams, they're not going anywhere. So how can we go from being the third best in that division to the first? Get more talent. Who's responsible for that? Kyle and John. Sometimes Kyle more than John. Again, he hired John. So get somebody in there. I hope this is true. Again, I don't know how credible this source is. I don't know much about the Gold Standard Podcast, but when I saw it pop up, I said, I got to talk about this to my audience. Y'all, most of us can agree John Lynch has to go. And if John Lynch either is fired, or if they just I see them giving him another position, another title, they'll move him up, and they'll give it to somebody else to do the scouting. John Lynch is not a scouter. He doesn't scout anybody. He doesn't know how to do those things. He's not good at it. He came from the NFL broadcasting booth. So why were we ever to believe that he could scout and evaluate talent? He just continues to do the same thing over and over again, and we get the same results. That's called insanity. D-line after D-line after D-line draft pick, and nothing has happened. And I still don't think Mikael Williams should have been picked number 11 overall. I don't care how good he is in setting the edge against the run. We need somebody that can get to the quarterback. He can't do that at all. So all I wanted to say was that if this is going to happen, I hope it's the right move, because this is what can make or break the 49ers organization. This is what can turn us from a great reset to getting right back to the Super Bowl, maybe even the Super Bowl 61 in Los Angeles. Or this could be a move that could set us back for a long time. And this is where we would have to tear it down and rebuild it and just start a whole new regime. So this pick, whoever this person is that they're going to come in, they're talking about somebody or some people that are going to come in and do the scouting and do the, the talent research on who needs to come in here and can probably make better picks in the early rounds of the draft. If it's somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, just like John doesn't, it's going to go downhill from here. But if it's somebody that knows what they're doing and they know how to move contracts and they know how to be like the next Howie Roseman, or somebody like that in Philadelphia, then we could be on to something very, very special. So who they hire, if this is going to happen, this could really make or break the 49ers in the next 3 to 5 years. It could set us back all the way, or it could really take us to the next level and Kyle could finally get that championship. But I would like to see Kyle coach this team if he's only the head coach. He doesn't need to be the general manager. He doesn't need to go to the grocery store anymore. Let somebody else do the shopping and bring it to Kyle and he can do some cooking. I think he could do better at that if that was the case. And I don't think he needs to call plays either anymore. I'm sorry. His plays are very suspect. His plays run CMC in the ground. When you had Brian Robinson Jr. there, I don't know why they traded for him. That tells me that wasn't even Kyle's move. Why did they bring this guy in and you don't use him? Over 400 touches is what CMC had in 2025. And you think that makes Kyle the coach of the year? He just gave the ball to CMC over 400 times. And he's still a good damn football player. Has he lost a step? Yeah, barely, but he has. I don't care what anybody says. He's not quite the same. The explosiveness is not there like it was, but he's still a damn good football player. He's still better than most. That just goes to show how great he was. But he's still good enough to get over 400 touches. But if you bring in another offensive coordinator, man, I wish we could have got Mike McDaniel back. I guarantee you he doesn't touch the ball that many times. That's Kyle doing that. And we were just crossing our fingers and keeping our eyes shut, peeking like, I hope he didn't get hurt. Oh, I hope he didn't get hurt. Okay, he's good. He's good. Whew. Rudder relief. Because you were worried about that because he got the ball way too much. I'm going to read some comments before I get into the next comment, until I get into the next topic. I think that if this is true, it needs to happen. But they got to hit with it. Has to be somebody good that knows what they're doing. Because if not, now there's too many egos. Now people are wearing too many hats. Now people think that they belong at this position. They deserve this status. And, that's when you're going to start, that's when bad things are going to start to happen. Okay. Jerry Rice is the greatest to ever do it. I agree with that, Dan Nerd. I agree with that wholeheartedly. What's up, Alfonso Russ? Carter27 says, we've been to a couple Super Bowls under Lynch. What are you saying? Everything that I just said. Are you not listening? Everything that I just said. We've been to a couple of Super Bowls and we've lost a couple of Super Bowls. And the reason why we lost those Super Bowls is because we either couldn't protect the quarterback, we didn't have a quarterback that we could trust or rely on that could make the play when it was time to make a play. We didn't have the head coach that could call the right play when he needed to call the right play. We didn't have a coach that knew the overtime rules. Or we didn't make the right draft pick where we had another D Ford or somebody that could stay healthy, unlike D Ford on the opposite side of Nick Bosa. Whether it was a lack of pass rush, whether it was the lack of a corner that could actually cover the receiver, or whether it was somebody who didn't protect. Or it was the wrong play call, whatever you want to call it. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are 0-2 in Super Bowls. What are you talking about? I've already said about 15 minutes ago, the Niners have did pretty good in late round picks, but they do terrible in the early round picks. It's time for that to stop. You can't keep throwing away good first, second, and third round picks all willy-nilly. You can't. And it's not all on Lynch. But some of it is. I've said that plenty of times. Carter27. Kyle is just as much to blame as John. He is the real general manager. He's the final boss. He hired John Lynch, which is unheard of almost. That's on Jed York. But yes, he let Kyle hire his general manager. And he got a phone call from John Lynch, and John Lynch said that he would love the opportunity, and he gave it to him. Why? Because Kyle likes to control everything. And if he had hired a general manager that was really going to be a general manager, he wouldn't have any say-so. Now, there are people that can come in, like Scott McCloughan, somebody who was once our general manager in the late 2000s to the early tens. Did a good job. He's responsible of Patrick Willis and Paris Harrelson and all of those guys that came in, Justin Smith in free agency. The two first-round picks that we used on offensive linemen like Mike Ayupati and Anthony Davis. This man was responsible for those people that came in. Scott McClellan did a good job with the 49ers as general manager. You've got the guy. Hell, they got somebody in-house right now. What's his name? Joe Williams or whatever. He keeps getting these interviews with other organizations. He hasn't got hired yet, but he's getting interviewed to be a general manager. Maybe he should be ours. He's highly respected. People like him. You've got the guy in Detroit. I can't think of his name right now. He's not the general manager, but people are starting to interview him for that position. You've got the guy in, there's guys out there that can take this job. But I know they're not going to just fire John Lynch because it's almost too late to replace him. Everybody's gotten hired. Everybody's been interviewed. It's about too late now kind of to, unless it's somebody that, you know, can get a promotion. They would have to be like player personnel, over the personnel, or VP of operations or something like that. One of those type of titles. But yeah, it's time. I hope this is true. And if these whispers are true, if these rumors are true, they're not rumors for nothing. Somebody's talking for a reason. Somebody's talking for a reason. Now, I've always put just as much blame on Kyle than John. Now I come in here and say they're about to get rid of John. Nobody wants to agree that it's John. Yes, he should go. Man, y'all are something else. He hasn't gotten hired anywhere else. Why do you think he should be here? Who? John Lynch or the other guy? I could tell you the damn answer. He looks a lot like me, probably. I don't know. I'm just saying what I'm hearing. The reports say that he's highly respected and he's got a great mind, good football IQ, and he's not going to be around much longer. Adam Peters was getting interviewed and didn't get hired for a while. When he was our scout guy, head of scout and all of that, the Denver Broncos finally the Washington Commanders hired him. Now he's their general manager. I don't know. I'm not keeping up with how good of a job he's doing over there, but he got Jaden Daniels right. He brought Debo back for a year. I don't think he's going to re-sign him, but Debo didn't have a bad year. I really can't grade his year in Washington because he didn't have a solid or healthy quarterback in 2025. But yeah, Adam Peters was getting turned down jobs too when he was in-house with us. And then boom, people were saying, hey man, make him the general manager. Just give John Lynch another position. But then Washington came and got him, and now he's gone. And I think the same thing can happen with this guy too, who I was just talking about. I would love to get Scott McClellan back. He was good. All right. We have no continuity. Year to year, that's a problem. Plus, we have to protect our quarterback. We paid all $4. David, that's a good comment, and you're right. We do have to do that. Yeah, I like this comment kind of, but not really. Carter27 said, I just feel that the coaches and GMs get a bad rap sometimes. Players have to make plays too. I agree with that. But who's responsible for the players that you need and expect to make plays? The coaches and the general managers are the ones who brought them in. So just as much as we have to blame the players, you got to blame the people who are in charge of putting that personnel on the field. They are responsible for that roster. The NBA will reportedly consider getting rid of the draft. Why would they do that? They need to consider getting rid of the All-Star weekend. David said, what I meant was we paid for Purdy, so we need to protect him. I agree with that. And we really need a better pass rush. I agree with that too, David. But who's responsible for that? Whoever that is and who continues to not do it. Because we ain't there. We don't know if it's Kyle. We don't know if it's John. I see the comments. It ain't John's fault. It ain't Kyle's fault. Motherfuckers, you don't know. None of us know. We're not there. I'm just going to say whoever is in charge of saying, hey, we need to protect Brock Purdy, and they chose not to do it, they need to get their ass up out of there. But David, you couldn't be more right. I agree with that. I agree with that. But we just don't know who the fuck is really doing that. We're not in the draft room. We're not in the room when they're making these trades and, you know, they're cutting people and they're signing people and they're releasing people. We don't know who made that call. All we know is for 3-4 years straight, we've been begging the Niners front office to address the offensive line. How do you make that huge of investment in your quarterback without protecting him? And on top of that, you keep your backup quarterback. They're saying right now they don't want to trade their backup quarterback. Now, I'm not going to get into this because I talked about this earlier this week. But my question was, should the 49ers trade Mac Jones or not? A lot of people say not. I don't want to trade him either, but there's some quarterback needy, desperate teams out there right now that would overpay to get Mac Jones out of San Francisco. You have to take advantage of that. If you already have your franchise quarterback, why are you so scared to get rid of Mac Jones? It almost tells me you think you made a mistake. Or somebody forced us to do this and we didn't want to do it. So we're not letting Mac Jones go. Yeah, but you could get a second-round pick for him. Now, if you offer anything less than that, oh, no, he's staying. But that was just something else that I wanted to talk about. You don't address your O-line to protect your quarterback, and then you don't want to get rid of your backup quarterback. That almost tells me you know Purdy is going to get hurt. He's not going to play 17 games. Well, if he's not going to play 17 games, why did you make such a large investment in him? Doesn't make any sense. Actually, it's because Shanahan originally wanted Mac Jones. I don't care, but he's got Brock Purdy. If he wanted Mac Jones so bad, he should have let Mac Jones be QB1, and he shouldn't have paid Purdy. I would have much rather seen that happen, because look how much more money we would have saved. We would have had a pass rusher opposite of Nick Bosa then. I mean, could you imagine if we had another true pass rusher, even when Bosa got hurt, there was still somebody else we could rely on, and you could just stick Bryce Huff on the other end? We probably still could have made the Super Bowl. But we were forced with saying, we got to make a trade. We got to make a trade. No, they should have did all of that in the offseason. I don't care if he wanted Mac Jones. You got him. But you don't need two quarterbacks. All you need is a quarterback and a backup, and you can get anybody to be your backup. Why does your backup have to be so good that he could take away the starting quarterback's job? Because we know he can. Purdy's cool, but Mac Jones is better because he's cheaper. I don't think Purdy is that much better than Mac Jones. He's better than him, but not $53 million per year better, if I'm making any sense to you. I want Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones. I'm the one who was singing Return of the Mac all season long. The first half of the season, Return of the Mac, that was me. But you've paid Purdy already now. I don't think anybody's going to trade for Brock Purdy. Now, if that's the case, trade his ass. I would like to keep the cheaper quarterback, and I would like to go spend Purdy's money elsewhere. Like offensive line, like pass rusher, like CB2, wide receiver 1. Linebacker, tight end. Man, that's a lot of gaps that's a lot of holes. That's why you have to trade Mac Jones and get what you can get for him, because you can get more than what you probably deserve to help fill the holes that we've got. If you don't do that, you're telling me you're questioning your decision on signing Brock Purdy. But again, John Lynch isn't going to get fired. I doubt that. But they're going to make a hire. If they make a significant hire in the next few weeks, like I just played the cut to you, the clip, that tells you what they're thinking. Their process of thinking is, this is the motherfucker that's going to take John Lynch's job eventually. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Thank you for the comment, Twitch. And everybody, Chaz White Sr., I hope we keep him, but it is a business. You're probably talking about Mac Jones. I hope we keep him too. But I would love, and I know this will never happen, I would like to keep Mac and trade Purdy. The Jets got all kind of first-round picks. I'll take one right now for Purdy. But that ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. Jed York said he couldn't wait to pay Purdy. Maybe it was his idea. Kyle's probably the one who's saying, man, we didn't have to pay that dude. I got who I wanted in free agency for $7 million. And if Kyle is thinking that, he's right. But why do we need to keep them both when we got so many other holes to fill? Frank the Tank said, get something for him for sure. Yeah, I mean, a third-round pick, I will reject. But anything better than a third-round pick, yes, I will take it. We can keep Mac Jones on our roster in 2026. If we do that the whole year, we're getting a third comp pick anyway. So why would we trade him for the same thing that we're going to get if we keep him? That don't make no sense. But the Vikings would offer us a second-round pick if they don't sign Kirk Cousins. If Kirk Cousins decides to go somewhere else, the Vikings will give us a second-round pick. The Jets, desperate ass, may give us a first. Or they may give us a second and a third. You know what we could do with those picks. That's right. Nobody really wants those picks because they know we can't draft good with those picks. And that is even more reason on why you shouldn't want John and or Kyle to stay. Some Niner fans just contradict themselves so much. I've heard you say it. Trade the picks. We can't draft them. We can't pick good players with them anyway. Whose fault is that? Like, they just be saying stupid shit. I'm going to move on, though. Who's going to be the next New England Patriots? Montana Shy said one of the best games I've seen was the Bears 49ers. Being a Bears fan, I'm glad it didn't end up in a blowout, though. Thank you for the comment. That was a good game. That was a good game. Brady took the starting quarterback's job. Yes, he did, Chris. And I would love for Mac Jones to take it. But we paid Brock Purdy already. Y'all haven't been watching the Great Debate Show. I know some of you all are new. I get it. Because you wouldn't make that comment if you've been watching me here on the Great Debate Show. I love Mac Jones. Don't get this twisted just because I'm saying we've got to trade him and take advantage of the NFL teams that are in desperate need of a quarterback, that I don't want Mac Jones on my team as the quarterback. I just would rather have him be the QB1 instead of just having him on the roster as a backup, and we ain't getting nothing out of it. There's holes to fill, and we can do that if we can get a second-round pick, probably a second and a fourth, because people are going to be desperate for Mac. If they pass up on that opportunity, they're telling you Purdy can't play 17 games. And if he can't play 17 games, why the fuck did you pay him? So don't y'all give me no shit, because everybody was telling me in August, you got to pay Purdy. You got to pay Purdy. Why are you hating on Purdy? And I said, don't do it. Don't pay him that much. $40 million. Take it or leave it. And I'm saying it because I'm thinking he's probably not going to take it. That's what I said. But they paid him now. So I don't see them trading him away to Minnesota or to New York or to Miami. I doubt it. Would I love it? Hell yes. But it ain't going to happen. And if it's not going to happen, you got to trade Mac Jones, man, and get more than what you're really supposed to be getting for him. Take advantage of it. It's almost like selling a used car and you got $5,000 more for it than you know you deserve. Aren't you going to sell that car because this dummy he doesn't realize he's buying a lemon? You're going to get rid of that lemon as soon as you can. Not that Mac Jones is a lemon. But people are going to overpay because there's no quarterbacks in the draft. And besides Kirk Cousins, there's nobody in free agency. Somebody's going to overpay for Mac Jones because they don't know if Malik Willis really should be a QB1. Malik Willis or Mac Jones? Kirk Cousins, that's about all you got. That's about all you got. Because the Colts are going to hold on to Daniel Jones. He's going to get a good payday, even though he got injured, because it's a shortage of quarterbacks. Okay. Here we go. I love when people comment and say stuff and they don't have a profile. I don't read those cowards' comments. Okay, back to what I was saying. Who's going to be the next New England Patriots in 2026 in the NFL? The New England Patriots had a lot of money, and they spent a lot of money in free agency. And a lot of times it never works out in their favor. But in 2025, it did. Drake May, a second-year quarterback. Mike Vrabel, his first year as their head coach. And boom, they went and got Stephon Diggs. They went and got Milton Williams from the Eagles, a Super Bowl defense. I can't even think of all the players they got, but they spent a little money. They drafted Will Campbell. He struggled, but it seems that he was injured in the postseason. But that left side of that O-line was shaky, but from the middle to the right, it was pretty good. And Drake May was just one vote short of being an MVP. We thought that the Patriots were a year away from getting to where we thought they would go. They were a year ahead of their time. And they were AFC champions. Who could do that in 2026? There's a few teams. Let's look at some of the teams that could do it. And I mean, like, they won 4 games, right? 4-13 to 13-4 or 14-3, I mean. That's pretty damn impressive. Now, they had an easy schedule. So who has an easy schedule in 2026 that, could actually spend some money, may have something promising at quarterback, and can add enough talent to make them better? That's right, MJ. My GOAT. Dopest world heavyweight title. Thank you very much. Morales, 77. Thank you. Big Gold is the best. That is the GOAT belt, for real. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for your comments. They had the easiest schedule in 20 years. I just said that, Tony. I just said that. They still went to the Super Bowl. I'm not telling you they should have been there or not. My question is, if y'all will listen, I said, who will be the next Patriots? They don't have to really be as good as the record says. They don't have to really be, they could be pretenders or, I don't care. I'm just saying, who's going to be the next them? Let's look at some of the teams that it could be. And it needs to be a team that didn't make the postseason. Who could that be? NFC or AFC? I'm having a hard time thinking. We know it ain't going to be the Dolphins. We know it's not going to be the Jets. We don't know the quarterback situations for any of them. It has to be somebody that does have a quarterback, but they're still not there yet. And the team that I'm going to tell you, I'm thinking of other teams. Like, what about the New Orleans Saints? But I don't think the Saints have a lot of cap space, which is crazy because they don't really have a lot of talent. But I think that they have kind of been over the cap for the past few years. But if they have a good quarterback, could the Saints be the next Patriots if they spend money in the right places? And if the quarterback going into year 2, what's his name again? Tyler Shook, who really started to heat it up. Could the Saints be one of those teams? Probably not. But I'm just saying. What about the Atlanta Falcons? We know that they should be better than what they are, but we don't know what to say about Michael Penix Jr. They're releasing Kirk Cousins. So that kind of eliminates them too, doesn't it? Okay, I like this one here. Finally, we're getting some answers here. Casey said the Giants, and then Mav Man also said the Giants for sure. Mav Man said the Colts. Which one, the Giants or the Colts? Now, the Colts were doing good last year before Daniel Jones' injury and a few more injuries on defense. What's his name? The running back. He could have been MVP had they kept it going, but it didn't happen. Richardson. Shit, what's his name again? I'm blank. The Colts running back was getting out to an MVP year. But I don't know if the Colts fit this discrimination because they were a playoff team before they weren't. Now, the Giants, I like that one a lot more. You got Jackson Dart going into year 2. He's got John Harbaugh at head coach. I don't care about him, but we know the Giants will win games under John Harbaugh. That's a good one. You've got Malik Neighbors coming back. I don't know what they're going to do with that wide receiver. They got a wide receiver that's going to be a free agent. I can't think of his name right now, but they've got some things cooking on defense with Brian Burns and Abdul Carter. If he gets it going, the rookie in his second year, can he get it back going? We know what these guys bring to the table with their front four. Dexter Lawrence and all those dudes. They can put some things together with a good draft and spend the money in the right places. I like the Giants. That's a good one. Jonathan Taylor, thank you. Thank you. I get blank with some of these names sometimes, but I'll be knowing who I'm talking about. Thank you very much, Tip Top. I hope you are in tip-top health. Colts don't count. I say the Colts don't count either. Because it wouldn't be a surprise. We would just say, yeah, that would have happened last year had they not lost their quarterback probably. It's Frank the Tank. All right, what's up, Frank? Okay. I think that the Giants is a good one. That may be the one. Let's see what TikTok is saying. Bucks in 6. He says Dolphins and Falcons. Now, I did mention the Falcons, but I don't know if they got their quarterback. Michael Penix gets hurt a lot. Do you trust him? And why would you say the Dolphins? Tua Tagovailoa is going to get traded or released. And even if they got Kyler Murray, no, that's a no for me. Now, I like the head coaching hire, Jeff Hafley, former DC from the Green Bay Packers, but I don't know. I don't know about the Dolphins. Dart needs to stay healthy and learn to slide. That's a good comment, OG Lock. And that could be the reason why that may not be the Giants. The Ravens are coming out of AFC. They might, but would it be a surprise to you? I mean, they've been here so many times. I wouldn't say that it's a team that's coming out of nowhere. Thank you, Brennan. Wandale Robinson. That's a sleepy good receiver who was going to be a free agent. He could probably get a good 4-year, $70, $80 million contract somewhere if the Giants let him go. But if he stays and Malik Neighbors is there and if Jackson Dart learns how to slide, the Giants could be the next Patriots. And it would be John Harbaugh's first year as a coach. Let me see if people got a few more. The Giants will be on 3-year rebuild. I'm going to also go out on a limb and say the Broncos or the Chargers. But they made the playoffs. So I wouldn't count any of them. It has to be somebody who didn't make the postseason. The Patriots won 4 games in 2024. So even though we knew they would improve, no one thought that they would only, they didn't even lose 4 games in 2025. 14-3. Rams got 2 first-round picks, going to get shut down corners and linebackers. We're back in the Super Bowl. And you'll be at home if you do that, Indy. Heck. Yeah, that's all they need. How did the Rams get 2 first-round picks? You see, when you're good, you're good. And they're good at what they do. Malik Willis, I don't know where he's going. Where is Malik Willis going to be? Bucks and 6? You think he's going to be a Dolphin? Yeah, that could be the case. But they still got to put some things around. Or Tyreek Hill is going to get cut. Jalen Waddle was going to get cut or traded. Who's he going to throw it to? And even if they do keep Waddle, Waddle's a good number 2. He's not a real number 1. I don't think. But yeah, that's a good one. Malik Willis, I said Friday that Malik Willis will probably be a Jet or a Dolphin. I've said that. But I don't know if they'll be the next Patriots. Y'all, I think the Giants is probably number 1, but let me give you my pick. Brace yourself. Romeo Doubs could go with them too. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It very well could happen. I don't know who the OC is in Miami now that Jeff Hafley's the head coach, but are you a Dolphin fan? I know you would love to get Malik Willis and Romeo Doubs. That would be good. I think Shanahan may want to get Romeo Doubs because he played in LaFleur's offense. And if you can play in LaFleur's offense, you can play in Shanahan's. Cowboys may be a contender next year too. They might. They might. They might. If they get the defense straight, that could surprise some people. You're right. Cowboys could be another good candidate. Niners need a real number 1 receiver. I know. We haven't had one since 2003 when Terrell Owens left. That is sad. Good comment, though. The end 1990. As a Giants fan, I'll be the first to tell you as a football fan. Thank you very much. The truther. Buckle up. It's going to be interesting. First thing the Dolphins need to do is get rid of Tua. They will do that, Chart. Bang, bang. We don't say that we don't say that. We say cowgirls. Well, come on, man. I try to be friendly to everybody that watches me until they're not so friendly. But thank you for the comment, bruh. I mean, Brute. I think that's right. Brute. Oh, who's the best quarterback next season, you think? I think Josh Allen will be the best quarterback for years to come. When it's not him, it's Lamar Jackson. I know they ain't doing enough in the postseason. I know. But I think if the Bills can get a defense, get a good defensive draft, get the right people, and they start. That's why Sean McDermott is gone. The general manager should have got fired too, but I don't see anybody taking Josh Allen's spot. It's either him or Lamar. And we know Joe Burrow's a bad boy too, but damn it, they don't even get in the playoffs anymore. It's Josh Allen. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. It's Josh Allen. I know he did too much in that playoff game in Denver, but it's because he hears us so much say he's going to put the cape on. He tried to put on 2 capes in that game, and he doesn't have enough supporting cast. Somebody said the Steelers somewhere too. Would it be a surprise though if the Steelers just went all the way to the Super Bowl? I mean, they've been a postseason team. They're just one and done. Thank y'all. Let's get some more likes on YouTube, y'all. Hit that like button. Subscribe to The Great Debate Show if you like this content. I've got quite a few people in here on YouTube. That's pretty high for me here on The Great Debate Show. TikTok, y'all always in here. Yeah, Burrow does stay hurt. But that's not his fault. It's because they don't protect him. That's the Bengals' fault. And that's why he's going to pull a Carson Palmer after this season. If they don't make the playoffs, if he gets hurt again, he's going to pull a Carson Palmer. If he doesn't just say screw it and stays retired like Andrew Luck. Okay, here's my team. Don't call me crazy. Don't shoot. Don't block me. Don't unfollow me. But just what if, I'm going to, I like to do bold predictions, but just what if the next New England Patriots in 2026, and it's another team that's going to get it, that has a coach in his first year, They have a quarterback. I think he's going to be their franchise quarterback. They've got a lot of money in cap space to spend, like the Patriots did. And they don't have a lot of talent, but the Patriots didn't either last year. And they added their talent through free agency and the draft. What if it's the Tennessee Titans? And I'm not saying that because I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. Nashville is 3 hours away from me, and I'm a fucking 49er. But what if it's the Tennessee Titans? Robert Saleh is a good hire for them because players really do play hard for him, and a lot of defensive players in free agency are going to want to sign to come to Tennessee because they really do love and respect Robert Saleh. They buy into what he's doing. They saw what he just did with the 49ers, and he had nothing but a bunch of young pups. And he still was able to at least, bend but don't break and get them into the postseason, the second round at that. He got a good hire at offensive coordinator by hiring Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll is going to call plays now for Cam Ward. What if Cam Ward in year 2 is Drake May? At first, I was wondering, I don't know about this Cam Ward dude. But now he started to show flashes in the second half of the season. He showed flashes just like Drake May that he can be special. But his supporting cast was terrible. Calvin Ridley was hurt most of the year. He ain't got nothing but a running back, and that's Pollard, Tony Pollard. Other than that, he ain't had much. And that tight end. Ikwano, whatever his name is. That's all he's got. Defense not good. Offense not good. Offensive line so-so. But he's got a hell of an arm. There's not a throw that he can't make. He should probably lighten up on some of the passes. He throws a lot of fastballs at times, but he's got some zip on it. He can make some throws where it's like, damn, how the hell did he get that in there? Now, that's going to be a gift and a curse. But he can fit some balls in some tight places. I probably shouldn't have said that exactly like that. But you get what I'm saying. I'm talking football. What if Robert Saleh, Brian Daboll calling the plays as OC, who really wants to get a head coaching job again, so he's going to do a damn good job in calling those plays. If Cam Ward is who I think he is, and they got $120 million in cap space. It was a little over $100 million, but everybody in the league is getting a $22 million increase in the salary cap. So that's over $120 million of them things. They could go get them a Milton Williams too, like the Patriots did. Put them right there next to their all-pro defensive tackle. Man, I can't think of his name right now, but he's all-pro. Their DT who didn't get traded. He's still there. If you can get a pass rusher, put a DT right next to him. Get a number 1 receiver in the draft and the free agency. His offensive line isn't that bad. Reshuffle it a little bit. Make sure you're sold and you're sealed in and capped in, locked in with the tackles. The Titans could be the next Patriots. They've got $120 million to spend. They've got a good offensive coordinator now in Brian Daboll. And again, Robert Saleh is going to fix their defense. He is the defensive coordinator and the head coach. I think that this team, and again, they got a Super Bowl that's going to be played in their new stadium that's going to open up in 2027. So a Super Bowl is going to be played in there in the next few years. After that, every time a team opens up a new stadium, they're always pretty damn good. So 2026 is a year where the Titans may go from, how many games did they win? 4? They're another team that could go from 4-13 to maybe 11-6. The AFC South is up for grabs. The Houston Texans has a great defense. This is the team we should all be saying, but we don't trust their quarterback, and we don't trust that they're going to protect their quarterback. We don't trust that they're going to get them a better receivers. Tank Dell is coming off of a major knee injury. And the other one, Nico, whatever his name is, he's a 1,000-yard receiver, but he still gets hurt too. And he's not always reliable. So the AFC South is always up for grabs. I know Liam Cohen and those dudes in Jacksonville are on the rise, but Trevor Lawrence still can't win a playoff game unless he's playing Justin Herbert, somebody who hasn't won a playoff game. So the AFC South, it could be a toss-up. You never know who it's going to be. And I'm not saying it's not going to be the Giants, because the Giants is probably the best team to say is going to be the next Patriots. But don't sleep on Robert Saleh, Brian Dabble, Cam Ward, and $120 million of cap space. If they put together another good draft, because they've been drafting all right now, their new general manager is actually kind of cleaning some things up. It's just a process in this rebuild. Don't sleep on the Tennessee Titans in 2026. But I agree with some of you all. The Giants, John Harbaugh, Jackson Dart, year 2. This could be it. They're definitely going to double their wins. They only won 3 games last season. But Jackson Dart just got to stay out of that blue tent. Cam Ward ain't gonna take no hits. He's more Warren Moon than he will ever be Steve McNair. He just want to stay in that pocket. But he's got a gunslinger. Okay? So I'm just saying, I'm going to go Giants number 1, but I'm going to go Titans number 2. And yeah, if the Cowboys get their defense right, they would be my number 3. Because they're this close. I'm not going to lie. As a 49er fan, I got to keep it real. They're just this close. Replace Micah Parsons, and it changes everything else. Replace Trey Diggs in that secondary, and you got you a defense. And the offense is already cooking. And they're not going to let go of George Pickens. Okay, y'all know that. All right, I'm going to read a few comments, and I'm going to get out of here. It's been good. This has been good. This has been a good show. Braun Breaker or Obafemi? Who's going to be the bigger star in the WWE? I don't really buy into Braun Breaker. I'm sorry. So I'm going to have to go with Obafemi. But neither one of them probably, because the WWE just doesn't know how to make stars. What about the Jags? Well, Slim, that's not a bad pick, but they made the playoffs. I'm talking somebody who didn't make the postseason. And they don't really have a good roster. They just got a quarterback that you know is the future. Just like Drake May. We knew last year they got a quarterback. Now they got to build around it. I think the Titans have a quarterback. But he had a terrible supporting cast in Tennessee. They've got to build around that, and they got $120 million in free agency to do it. In cap space, I mean. Spend the money in the right places like the Patriots did. The Patriots had to sign a lot of talent, y'all. They did. They only won 4 games last year. They were pretty bad, too. All right? The Titans picked number 1, but the Patriots picked number 4. So they weren't much worse than them. So I know it sounds crazy now, but that's because you've seen what the Patriots did. But look at the Patriots roster in 2024. Okay? They fired a coach. They didn't have anything other than Drake May. Now look. The Titans could be that team too. But I will say the Giants is probably the better look. But the Giants still got to spend some money. And I don't know if they've got the cap space the Titans got. Nobody does. And I don't trust John Harbaugh. He hired another bad offensive coordinator. Roxboro Slim says again, facts. I'm a Canes fan. Oh, Lord. I'm a Seminole. I sure wish I could get that pass rusher. What's his name? Bain. He said, trust me, if they can protect Cam, he will give you wins. Thank you for the comment. He knows because that is where Cam Ward came from. His last year was the Miami Hurricanes. Thank you for that comment, Slim. What else we got here? Jose, how you doing? The Jags did step up. And they got the number 4 pick. That's the Titans. That's right. They do. Brandon J, 716. Give Cam an O-line and he will get you wins. That is right. Cam is laughing at me. I must have said something funny to him. Gunnar Ham is too good for the Titans. I mean, it's good too for the Titans. Thank you for that comment, Texas Bread 42. I wonder is my brother watching right now. He knows who that is. I sure as hell don't. Jags will be a sleeper team. Cam said, speaking the truth. Thank you. Cam said, Unc, don't lie. Thank you. They got Offensive Player of the Year, says Michi. Oh, they don't got the Offensive Player of the Year. Well, draft him. Salah is hell of a defensive guru. I agree. And he's going to fix that defense. What's his name again? Jeffrey Simmons? Jeffrey Simmons. If they put another DT next to him or a pass rusher, the Titans front 4 can be really good. It can be really good. And then they'll get the back end straight because he's just going to zone everything to death. Whatever their weakness is, he's going to keep that stuff in front of them. Watch out for the Titans. You heard it here first. Thank y'all for getting them likes up a little bit on YouTube. Let me go back to YouTube. Yeah, they do have to get the O-line right, though. No doubt about it. Packers will look good also. Yeah, but the Packers made the playoffs. It's got to be a team that was bad, like the Giants, like the Titans. And I think that one of those are probably going to be the teams. But I don't like Harbaugh. I just don't. But he's going to get wins. We know that. Lamar Jackson to the Cardinals or the Dolphins. I would take the Dolphins. Please don't come to the NFC West. Thank you for the comment, Change Getter. Dart can adjust to any offense. Most quarterbacks need the perfect system. The truther. You may be right. I hadn't seen Jackson Dart that much to say that. But look, man, if Jackson Dart can just slide and stay out of that blue tent, I want to agree with you on that. But I don't like the offensive coordinator they hired. I think John Harbaugh went with, didn't he bring back Adam Gase? Adam Gase? Adam Gase is back in the NFL. He's either the OC or he's the pass game coordinator, I think now. And I think it's for the Giants. And if I'm wrong, I still don't like whoever Harbaugh hired as the offensive coordinator. That's my only thing. I don't know why the Harbaughs are so bad at that. Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Adam Gase is going to the Chargers. Well, I got the Harbaugh right, just the wrong team. But John Harbaugh still, let me see who John Harbaugh hired. Who is the Giants offensive coordinator? I'm telling you, I think it's still somebody that sucks. Let's see here, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. New York Giants offensive coordinator. Somebody's going to tell me before I find it. Matt Nagy. Trash. Remember when they said Matt Nagy was about to be a head coach for the Tennessee Titans or somebody else? I'm like, I bet you nobody hires him. Andy Reid looked like he didn't know what the fuck he was doing at times this past season. I know the Chiefs ain't the Chiefs right now, but Matt Nagy had a lot to do with that. And what did Andy Reid do? He got Eric Bieniemy back on the phone and said, hey, you want your job back? This shit ain't working without you. And the Chiefs have not looked like the Chiefs since they lost Eric Bieniemy and Tyreek Hill. Did they still win games and get to the Super Bowl? Yeah. But the last Super Bowl they did win. No, they lost that Super Bowl. But the last Super Bowl they went to, they won every game by a point or two. They barely were winning these games. John Harbaugh hired Matt Nagy. It looks like he just did it on Friday the 13th. That's bad luck right there alone. As of Friday the 13th, February 2026, Matt Nagy has been officially announced as the new OC for the New York Football Giants. He joins the staff of head coach John Harbaugh for the 2026 season with the primary responsibility of developing quarterback Jackson Dart. Now, I'm not going to tell you he can't develop Jackson Dart, but I don't like his play calling. I didn't think he was a good coach with the Chicago Bears. He ended up going back to Andy Reid's staff, coaching staff. He's been there for a little minute since Eric Bieniemy left, and now he's had to move on because Andy Reid said, yeah, this ain't going to work. And I watch how the Chiefs turn back into the Chiefs. If Travis Kelce comes back another year, if Patrick Mahomes he probably won't be Patrick Mahomes the first year back from that torn ACL or whatever that knee injury was. Yeah, ACL. But he's still Patrick Mahomes. And with Eric Bieniemy calling the plays, if they put together a good draft, if they spend some money a little bit, and they're probably going to go get Breece Hall in free agency at running back, they could use him. They're going to get a wide receiver. They may get Tyreek Hill back. You can't tell me the Chiefs won't be back, but it'll be because Matt Nagy's gone. I don't trust Matt Nagy. And that's why I don't understand why the Harbaughs can't get their offensive coordinator picks right to save their life. Thomas Faulkner says, exactly, Unc. Change Getter said, Kyler Murray is done in Arizona. Lamar will be the new quarterback of the Cardinals. Well, I hope you're wrong, Change Getter, and stop saying that shit before that you speak it into existence. Let him go to the other team you said. I don't want to see Lamar Jackson in Arizona. And I don't think Lamar Jackson is going anywhere. He's going to get the extension. I don't know why you're saying that. Are you a Cardinal fan? I'm not snapping at you. I'm just asking a question like, why are you so... Yes, Kyler Murray's done. He's probably going to New York or Miami or Minnesota. But Lamar Jackson ain't going anywhere. They showed us who they wanted to keep. They kept Lamar. They let John Harbaugh go. Now, I was saying that Lamar Jackson was going to either Miami or Atlanta. But that was before they fired John Harbaugh. I thought they would never do it, even though I've said for years they should do it. Yeah, I don't mean no harm, Change Getter. He's laughing at me. But yeah, I ain't even trying to be funny. I'm dead serious. Lamar Jackson gets a lot of hate, but I bet you the people that's hating on him don't want to see him twice a year in their division. What about the Jets? Yeah, I would love to say the Jets, but I was too high on the Jets this past year, and Justin Fields let me down, so I don't know. I got to see what their quarterback is before I say them. But the Jets do got everything that they need. They do. They've got tons of first-round picks, thanks to the Colts and the Cowboys. They've got money, cap space. Aaron Glenn's got one more shot at it. He just needs some good assistance, and I don't know if he replaced them with the right people or not. But he fired a lot of people about a week or so ago. The Jets could be one, Slim. They could be. I would love for that to happen. I'm a 49er, red and gold till I'm dead and cold, but I was happy to see the Bears organization be back on top. They deserve it. I would love to see the Bills in the Super Bowl and win. They deserve it. I would love to see the Jets in the playoffs again. They deserve it. I would love to see the Cleveland Browns win a AFC wildcard game at least. Go to the AFC divisional round. They deserve it. I would love for them to have a franchise quarterback. Seriously. I would love for the Tennessee Titans to be competitive every season like they were under Jeff Fisher. I mean, consistency, being good consistently. I would love that for Robert Saleh and the Titans, and my brother's a diehard fan. I mean, going back to the Houston Oilers. He deserves it. So I don't hate on a lot of teams like y'all think I do. I really do be wanting to see a lot of these teams successful. As long as they're not playing the 49ers that week, I'm good. The Browns have the easiest schedule this season. Well, come on, Thomas Faulkner. Get some wins then. If not, trade Myles Garrett to San Francisco and be through with it. Y'all, we talked about Max Crosby. We talked about Mac Jones. We talked about the Raiders and their #1 pick. Should they keep it? Should they trade it? Should they trade Max Crosby? Will it happen? Max Crosby said he don't want to talk about it anymore. He just wants to play football. We talked about Aaron Rodgers. He's probably going to return to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We talked about all that on Friday. If y'all missed that content, it's up on the YouTube channel. There's plenty of content up on the TikTok profile. Do you think the Cowboys come back before Jerry dies? No, I really don't. And the bad part about it is that's really what he wants to do before he dies. But he doesn't realize himself that he's the problem and he's the reason. Yeah, they haven't been since Bart Scott, I think. Facts. Facts. Remember Chad Pennington? Didn't have the strongest arm, but they were competitive. Herman Edwards and those guys got them to the playoffs. Okay, y'all, so I wanted to tell you, we said the Giants, the Titans, possibly the Cowboys. These are the top 3 teams that we think could be, and hopefully the Jets, but I doubt it. And don't forget about Tyler Shook and the Saints. All right? They've got a head coach over there named Kellen Moore. Tyler Shook started to heat it up as the season progressed toward the end. If they get some talent and have a good draft, what if the Saints become the new Patriots? I'm not saying Super Bowl, but you don't have to go to the Super Bowl to be the next Patriots. Just go from 4-13 to 14-3. That's good enough for me. Yes, the Saints. Thank you, Thomas Faulkner. San Francisco sucks. Thank you, James. If Jerry Jones wants another chip, they should have got Dion and Shador. So why didn't they? It was almost like everyone was told, don't touch him. That's called a collusion. Speaking of collusions and things, Brian Flores is winning right now in his NFL lawsuit. He got that case to go from Roger Goodell and the NFL wanted it to be like go to arbitration, but now it's really going to be a case. And class action lawsuit on the way. Brian Flores has a chance. There has also been some more developing news with John Gruden in his lawsuit. He's winning too so far. So the NFL is not trying to show us these things, but they're taking some L's right now when it comes to the courtroom and things that they've done or not done the correct way. I do believe if the Giants are healthy, they could be a problem. We said that last season too, Southboy 315, but Brian Dabble had some bad luck. Jackson Dart, he kept running him a lot, and he was in the blue tent too much. He needs to learn how to slide, and he needs to have Matt Nagy has to do a good job with the play calling. But I don't know if I trust Matt Nagy. We'll see how that works. I'm saying the Tennessee Titans. If you put some talent around Cam Ward and protect him, and they've got $120 million in cap space to do that, watch out for the Titans. I always look out for the team that's about to move into a new stadium. They usually are good enough for you to sell out the seats in their new stadium. Y'all got to move away from the chemical plant. Everybody's talking about that now. Boy, we never make the headlines in a good way. But I agree. I agree with that comment. Cloud, I agree. At the end of the day, Jed York said he didn't care about that. He think that's a bunch of nonsense. So that man, if these players continue to get hurt, it's probably the substations. Y'all, that's what I wanted to tell you. Who's the next New England Patriots in 2026 in the NFL? And Jawan Jennings is not. It's rumored that he's not going to return to the 49ers. I told you all the past few weeks he's going to go to Tennessee Titans. He's going to be with Robert Saleh. They're going to pay him a little more money. They got $120 million in them things. He's not going to stay with us. And we said that John Lynch could be replaced, or they could make a significant hire in the front office to shake things up. And if they make that hire, they'll tell you that Kyle and John have too many responsibilities and they don't think they're doing good with those responsibilities. Justin Jefferson can be in New York. Yeah, I think he wants to go play with Sam Darnold again, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I hope it doesn't. I would love for him to come to San Francisco for Mac Jones. That's why I keep saying we need to trade Mac Jones. Could the Vikings be desperate enough to do that? Probably not, but I would give them Mac Jones. I would give them Brandon Ayuk. I would give them a third-round pick. And I don't think that's too much. Now, if the Vikings really want 2 firsts or a first and a second, yeah, I don't know if I do that. We got too many holes to fill. And the first-round pick and the second-round pick and the third-round pick probably all need to be offensive line. Jefferson said Seattle or Bengals. See? Now, the Bengals ain't going to happen. I know he wants to play with the quarterbacks that he played with, but the Bengals, why would the Bengals trade for Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins is there, and they ain't got no damn defense? He can cancel that one. But just Justin Jefferson in Seattle with Njigba already, Smith and Jigba, man, that would be against the law. And they've got a chance to also get Max Crosby. So all this is against the law if that happened. But the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And we're pretty poor right now. We just were lucky enough to have the easiest schedule. We won't have the easiest schedule this year. But we'll still play the third best teams in the divisions, and that's not that bad. Jefferson is gone, Unc. Jefferson has a better chance going to the Bills. That's a good look, too. But I think they're going for A.J. Brown. Where do y'all think A.J. Brown is going? We talked about all of that Thursday. On Friday. I don't know. It's up. Check it out. The content is up, available on there. Please, y'all go check it out. Thank y'all for the likes. The more likes you all give me and the more comments, the more it helps me out with the algorithm. And it allows me to continue to come back and give you shows and hopefully at some point in the near future, better content. Thank y'all for watching The Great Debate Show. Again, it's available on all social media platforms. I tweet good stuff all day. Follow me on X. Just type in The Great Debate Show and you will see me. And I'm posting all kind of stuff, reposting, retweeting. And, you know, we have these surveys that I do, these polls, I mean, like today. Who's going to be the next Patriots? Join the fun and get in there. I do that on Twitter and on Facebook throughout the week. So y'all follow all of those platforms. And make sure you please follow on TikTok and YouTube because you never know when your favorite Unc might pop back up. If you like this content, again, like, follow, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Until the next time, y'all be safe out there. Have a great Sunday fun day. Peace.